Hello, everyone. My name is Dave Robinson, and this is my wife, Tomo, and our kids.
Hello!
We are missionaries serving in northeastern Japan with the Japanese Evangelical Missionary Society, or GEMS. And here in Japan, we are partnering with Morioka Bible Baptist Church and the Conservative Baptist Association of Japan. I want to take a few minutes to give you an update on how things are going as we get into 2026. We have been church planting in Miyako for 7 years now. This is a town that is on the coast in northeastern Japan. It's a very rural part of Japan. And the reason we wound up here specifically is because this is a town that was hit by the tsunami back in 2011, and we were working with a Japanese Conservative Baptist church that was doing a lot of relief work and outreach in the town, and they felt called to begin a new church plant, and so they sent me and my family down here to begin that work back in 2018. Miyako has a population of about 50,000 people, but that's spread over a very large geographic area. Most of the town is mountains and forests, but the largest concentration of people is here on the coast where we live. As church planters, we focus our efforts in 3 areas, the first being local church ministry. We have a small group of local Japanese Christian believers that we are meeting with regularly for worship, prayer, and discipleship. We also strive to be a valuable part of our community by doing things like teaching English classes, hosting exercise programs for the elderly, and Tomo does an icing cookie class as well. And through these events, we get to know many people in the town and get the opportunity to both demonstrate the love of Christ and share the gospel verbally. Ministry in Japan is often a very slow and long-term process. We knew that before getting into this. If you look at the history of missions in Japan, there has been Protestant missions here for the last 150 years, and yet the church has grown very little in that time. And now being in Japan for many years, we've gotten to see that firsthand, but we've also seen God work in some really encouraging ways. Just in the last 2 months, we've had 2 ladies who we've gotten to know through the various events that we've been doing, who have expressed interest in studying the Bible and learning about Christianity, and that's just been such a huge answer to prayer. Over the course of the first 7 years that we've been here, we've had many opportunities to share the gospel with people, and we've seen many of our friends come to Easter services and Christmas services, but no one seemed to want to take that next step of really seriously considering Christ. And so to have 2 ladies sort of separately express that desire and begin studying the Bible with Tomo has just been so encouraging. Another really encouraging thing is that just last week we had our first baptism at our church plant. Our oldest son, Titus, was baptized, so that was really encouraging. I think it was really exciting for us as a church and particularly for Tomo and I as parents to see Titus get baptized and make that profession of faith. So it's just a really wonderful time. A third really encouraging thing that's happening this year is that there are 3 new pastors that are coming up to our prefecture to work within the other Conservative Baptist churches that we partner with. One of them is going to be an associate pastor at our mother church, and as such, he'll be also helping out from time to time here at our church plant, so that's specifically a blessing for us. But nationwide, there's a really big shortage of pastors in Japan, and so the fact that God is calling new pastors to come and fill some of these roles and these needs in rural Japan out where we are, among these other churches that we work closely with, is just a really huge answer to prayer. Now, that said, there are also many challenges to life and ministry in Japan. For us, one of the biggest ones is that we are currently the only full-time ministry workers at our church plant, and we had always hoped to be working as a team, having other full-time workers working alongside us. And yet for the majority of our time here church planting, it's really just been Tomo and I. And this is difficult because it feels like there's so much work that needs to be done, and we see so many things that we could be doing that we just don't have the time to do with just the 2 of us. And this is kind of a reality for many missionaries and pastors in Japan. Again, there's just a large shortage of long-term Christian workers in Japan. Along with that is something that I mentioned earlier, and that's just the slow pace of ministry. So often it seems like there is no visible fruit of the work that we're doing, and so it can be difficult to kind of just be doing it day after day and not seeing anything happen. We trust and know that God is working in people's hearts in ways that we can't see. Still, it's something that's always in the back of our minds and making things just a little bit more difficult here. A third challenge is that it feels like our current church building is a little bit on the small side. We can hold around 20 people, and most Sundays we have between 10 and 15 regular attenders. But that means for things like Easter and Christmas, when we want to invite other families, if 1 or 2 extra families show up, it quickly gets very crowded. We don't really have the budget or the ability to go to something bigger right now, so we're not sure exactly what to do. So we're trusting God in that area as well. Finally, I'd like to leave you with 3 prayer requests. The first is for spiritual growth for Titus and these 2 new ladies who have begun Bible studies. Pray for Titus that he grows in his faith, that really takes root in his life. Pray for these two new ladies that they will be led to faith, and that as they study the Bible with Tomo, that they will have their questions answered and that the Spirit will draw them. And pray for wisdom for us as we try to disciple Titus and these seekers. Please also be praying for God to send long-term ministry partners to work with us in Miyako. In the meantime, he has sent short-term workers and mid-term workers. We've had interns and teams, which has been a blessing. But really what we've seen is that the primary need is for people who are able to come and learn Japanese and have the patience to build relationships that often take many years to build. After being here for 7 years, it feels like just now things are starting to happen within the relationships that we've been building. So this really is a long-term ministry, and we're praying for God to send people to come and help us out here. Related to that, we are also looking for a house. So be praying that God will provide a good house for us in a good location. Our current house is one that we were able to rent pretty quickly when we first got to town, which was a big answer to prayer because there was somewhat of a housing shortage at the time. But it is a very old house that needs a lot of repairs. And since we just were able to obtain permanent residency in Japan, we can now look into actually purchasing a house. And so we're really praying that God will lead us to the right place. Thank you so much for your prayers and support of God's work here in Japan. We really value your partnership, and it means so much to us knowing that you're praying for us and supporting us back in America. Thank you again so much, and God bless.